Hi, welcome back. You may find the material we're going to use for this exercise just below the video. You can start from zero if you want to import the composition from Adobe Illustrator, or you can open the After Effects file. Everything is already in the link below, so be free to select the one that you think that is going to work for you. Okay? We're going to learn how to control the animation of multiple layers together with parenting, something that is called parenting. Now, parenting is a process of linking layers together, so the movement of one layer is going to be dependent of the movement of another. What does this mean? Let me open you a file so you can have an idea of what we're going to do. We're going to do this specific thing. So I'm going to show you so you can have an idea what are we going to do. As you can see, it's a magnet and it's like getting the letter A, and we're going to learn how to move this arm, this other arm, and then of course the A is going to move from the bottom. Okay, now for doing this we're going to need something that is called anchor point. Anchor point is the point around which a layer rotates. The default position of an anchor point is at the center of the layer. Now let's see how the default anchor point will affect the animation. Now, if you open the file of After Effects, you're going to have all the panels that I have right now in my screen. Now, in the timeline panel, remember that the timeline is the one that we have below. Select the layer name ARM1, in this case, right here, and press R on your keyboard to open the rotation property. So I'm showing you some shortcuts to make it easier, okay? Now, drag the rotation angle, is the second blue number that you have right here, to the right to see how the layer currently rotates. So I'm going to move it for you so you can see how it's moving, right? Okay. Now, I don't know if you see how the arm layer rotates around the center of the arm. That's not what the animation wants. So we will need to move the anchor point to a new position, and we're going to do it in the next step. Now, for this animation, we need the machine arm to rotate around its bottom hinge, right here. Let's move the anchor point from the middle of the arm 1. This is going to be arm 1, and this is going to be arm 2, to the lower right corner over the center of the base. So the first step to do that is to reset the rotation of the arm 1. Remember that this is arm 1, so instead of having 14 degrees in my case, I'm going to write down 0 and press enter. It's going to go back where it was at the beginning, okay? Now in the tool panel at the top of the screen, select the pan behind tool. The pan behind tool is this one. It says pan behind tool, or you can press Y. Okay, now in the composition panel, click on the anchor point of the arm 1 layer and reposition it in the middle of the circular hinge of the right side of the layer. So I'm going to select this one and I'm going to press it right here where I have the circle. Okay, now if you have already done this, perfect. You just adjust the anchor point of the layer. Now, if you adjust the rotation angle, you're going to notice the layer rotates around the point we want, but we need all of the other parts of the machine arm follows the rotation, right? In the next step, we're going to learn how to use the pick whip tool to tell the other layers to follow the arm 1 rotation. Now, when setting up one layer to follow another, there is something that is called child and parent, okay? So there is a child, niño, layer, follow the parent layer, el papá. In this case, we want the arm 2, this one, to follow arm 1 layer, this one, okay? So the arm 2 layer is the child and the arm 1 is going to be the parent, okay? Vamos a hablar de hijos y padres. Now, how are we going to do this? In the parent and link column, right here, you can see it says parent and link column. Click and drag the pick whip for the arm 2 layer over the layer name for arm 1 and then release the cursor. So I'm going to select the arm 2, I'm going to click it here, and I'm going to hold it and drag it, and here you have it. Now, if you have done this, you should see that arm 2 layer move with the arm 1 layer, and look in the parent and link column and make sure that you have 5-point arm 1 appears next to pick whip of arm 2. Now, in my case, I have 5. Maybe if it's the first time that you're doing it, it's going to appear 4 or another number. Remember that I first do this exercise, so then I can explain it to you, okay? Now, this lets you know that you successfully assign arm 1 as the parent layer, okay? Now you have this. Now we need to finish assigning the child and parent relationships of the other machine parts, because we have the arm 2, the arm 1, we have the top, and we have the base. Now, let's have the top layer follow the arm 2. This is going to be the top layer. How are we going to do it? Now, I'm going to reset the rotation in case you have another number here. Be sure to have 0, okay? In the parent and link column, we already know that this one where I'm moving the mouse. Click and drag the pick whip for the top layer over the layer name for arm 2 and release it. So I'm going to select this one, click, and I'm going to hold it, drag it, and then release it. Now, once you have done this, you're going to find out that there is a line and it appears another legend with another numbers, okay? Now click and drag on the rotation angle of the arm 1 layer to see what happens. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to drag it here and take a look how it goes. Whoa! They're all moving together. So I'm going to press down here 0 again, enter. Now, you should see the layers moving together, and you can see that the parent and link column, and you're going to see another number. I have 4.arm 2 and appears next to the pick whip on the top layer. Now this lets you know that you successfully assign arm 2 as a parent layer. So this is going to be the parent of this one. This one is going to be the parent of this one, okay? Now that we have parenting set up for our layers, when we create the animation, those layers will move together as unit. Now, what are we going to do? We're going to select on the left, here in your timeline, we're going to select the 3 of them. Remember that you can do it by pressing Shift, okay? Now, press R in your keyboard, just R, to open all of the rotation parameters. You're going to find out that I have rotation, rotation, and rotation, correct? Now, click the stopwatch for rotation on one of the selected layers to add a keyframe to each of the layers. It really doesn't matter which one. I'm going to do this one, and you're going to find out that I have these blue icons, and these are going to be the keyframes. You should see keyframe for rotation of each selected layer in the timeline, okay? In order to have an animation, we must have at least 2 different keyframes recorded for a single property. Now we're going to create a second keyframe for all the 3 of the selected arm layers. Now what are we going to do? We're going to move the current time indicator to 15 frames. You see that it says 15F in the timeline panel, and click it in an empty area of the timeline. For example, this is an empty area. You see that it's gray and it has no information, okay? This is going to deselect the 3 layers that I have selected right here. You see that none of them is selected. Now, I'm going to adjust the rotation setting for arm 1 to 70. I'm going to come here to the left, arm 1, and I'm going to write down 70, press enter. Okay, it's going to give me just this vertical position. Now I'm going to adjust the rotation setting of arm 2 to 18 degrees, so I can have something that is going to be horizontal. Let me write down 18, enter. Or minus 18, because I guess I wrote it well. Let me see, minus 18. Yes, minus 18. And how about the top? So I'm going to put it in 0. I'm just trying the numbers, okay? That's why I'm guessing. Yes, it worked. Now, scrub the current time indicator in the timeline panel and until you see 4 seconds. So I'm going to move it here and I'm going to look for 4 seconds. And 4 seconds is right here. Let me see, where is it? I guess I am too close to it. Just let me move it. Okay. I'm going to move it here. It's going to be 4. Okay, now, once it's right here, you can see how the arm moved together in one unit. Let me show it to you how it goes. So I have it like this, and it's moving already. But guess what? We have this letter A and some like magnet symbols right here. How are we going to make them appear? So when setting up parenting between multiple layers, it's usually helpful to stack those layers in an order, that makes sense when linking things together. But sometimes that doesn't work visually. In this exercise, we need to change the stacking of the layers so the letter A appears under the magnet, and so the magnet layer appears behind the arm it is attached to. So what are we going to do? We're going to drag the top layer below the arm2 layer in the time panel. So I'm going back here and I'm going to select the top layer. Remember that this is the one that is named top. It was named top before in Adobe Illustrator, and I'm going to put it below arm2. So I'm going to hold it and then release it here. You see arm and top. Now I'm going to drag the magnetic one, this one, the one that says magnetic, to pre-comp layer. So where do we have the pre-comp layer? Let me see, where is it? Da-da-da. The magnetic pre-comp layer, we're going to put it below the top layer and is right here perfectly. And if you move the current time indicator along the timeline panel, you're going to find out how the layer now all work together following each other. You're also going to see that all the layers appear stacked properly in the composition. Okay, and this is how it was done. Now, I want to show you how you have one keyframe here and how this one, you already know how to do it because we made it in the past exercises. And then how about the light or the magnetic waves that they appear? You're going to find out that they do appear in another, like when you're selecting like the properties that you have already here. Now, this is an exercise for you to make animation and how to make it work. Remember that we're going to do another exercise to get practice, but I hope you enjoyed this one. Remember, try to do it and to understand it. Don't be afraid. This is going to be really a nice exercise for you to do something creative and something new. Now have fun and see you in the next exercise, okay? Bye!